is a show that focuses on the person behind the Brony. I'm your host, Osaka Jack. Please sit back and relax as we talk to this week's guest Brony. Hello everyone, this is Osaka Jack with Into the Spotlight on Everfree Network. With me today, I have someone who works on EFN a lot harder than I do. Okay, most people work a lot harder than I do, but still, Mr. Kiniro, hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well, quite well. I got to take a bit of a day off for once, so not just from EFN, but from paid work, so yay!
Oh, days off are always nice.
First 3-day weekend in a long time.
Oh, wow, 3-day weekend.
I know. It's been crazy hectic at work, been working 50, 60-hour work weeks, and this first weekend off, I feel so good to be home.
Now, come on, there's 168 hours in the week. You're only working 60 hours. That's less than half. Give them some balance, you greedy jerk.
But anyway, I love my job. I don't love it to where it becomes my second life.
There is a reason that we have to be paid to do our jobs, and that
exactly.
is because while we might enjoy them, it's not what we would choose to be doing for our whole life.
That is true. Even though I enjoy my job and I love my job, in case anyone's listening in, I love my job very much, but please, no more than 40 hours a week unless I get paid overtime.
Yes, indeed. Well, real fast, I want to mention it, though, the screen name that you have. We had to do a little back and forth so that I pronounced it correctly, because I was tempted to use Kiniro, which is not exactly how you say it.
It's Kiniro. Actually, it's a bit of a nickname I've had since I was 12. It turns out that I was given this nickname by a foreign exchange student that I think was mocking me, because when I was 12, I used to be a bit of a little pompous little kid. But anyway, the name stuck with me for many years, and it's kind of now I still consider it my nickname, but it's my alias in the Brony community.
It's if anyone's unfamiliar, it does mean gold-colored. Which, oh, you know what? Okay, boom, I've got it. Excellent. You're going to need a nemesis.
Uh-oh.
A nemesis, Kiniro, which is silver-colored.
Uh-oh.
I'm halfway through designing this already. Okay, we're going to make it Twitter, and they're going to just invade EFN and have their own show, and they're going to be just not as good as you, but still good, and okay, I give up.
Well, as long as I don't have to go up against a Silver Surfer, I think I'll be okay.
Silver Surfer, cool. Gold Surfer would not be nearly as cool. I'm sorry.
I think it just would be a little bit more gaudy than anything else.
Yeah. Well, I glazed over it, but yes, you also work on EFN. If anybody's not familiar, could you quickly describe what do you do?
Well, as far as EFN's concerned, I'm actually EFN's project specialist. That's a super all-encompassing, vague term. But it actually means that I do a lot of different things on the network. I actually do some of the social media stuff for Facebook. I got our Google Plus page back up and running.
Nice.
I help do a lot of the YouTube reorganization, just repair and maintenance kind of functions for social media, and make sure that things continue to work smoothly. And if something goes down, then I help in the interim while we get to do manual stuff until we get our automatic systems back up and running.
People might not be aware of this, but for staff, for show staff, the Everfree Network Twitter has an auto retweet, which has been fluctuating recently, but I did see in the chat this morning that it's been fixed, and I'm tempted to use it.
I believe it is working now. For the past, for quite some time, it was actually me having to manually set up a list that I can monitor some of the people from EFN who were on that list, and then retweet it either from home via TweetDeck or from my Samsung phone while I'm out and about.
So the auto part of the auto retweet wasn't working.
Yeah, so I was the retweet bot for a while. I tried my best. I couldn't catch everything because I work work has its priorities.
Sure, of course.
Outside of some of those functions, I also do. I'm actually one of EFN's cameramen. I did a lot of the camera work at BronyCon. Let me see. I also let's see. What else do I do? I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. But yeah, I do a lot of the con production stuff. I'm public relations for Everfree News. So whenever Krypton Logic, Jose, is in a bind or needs some help, whether it's internal or external stuff, I help him out since he's the executive or EIC or the editor-in-chief of Everfree News.
Right.
I help him out with administration functions and stuff like that. I also, what else have I done? Well, some other back-end stuff I can't talk about at all, but outside of core EFN stuff, I'm actually the director, the producer of the inventory on KPNY, which is a show that airs on EFN.
Yes. Yes, the KPNY inventory.
Yes.
Speaking of the back end thing, turns out I don't need the Black Ops this week, but maybe next week. So.
Okay, I'll make sure that if you do need that though, that we'll get the right paperwork so we can process that hit on that one individual that you said that you don't. Oh, sorry, sorry, I shouldn't be saying that right now.
Turns out I was actually mostly asleep and I put a hit on myself. I need to cancel this as soon as possible.
Oh yeah, that's actually not my administrative function. I think I have to redirect you to someone else.
Okay, great. They tell me that a person who has a hit on them can't call off a hit, and yet I'm the one who put the hit on myself. This is okay. Bureaucracy's gonna get me.
Well, you could always, get Osaka Jack from Universe B and have him call it off for you.
That's true. Yes. Okay. All right. I'll get the portal ready.
All right. Let's do it.
Do we need any more nachos while we're out there? Turns out, everybody, I'm going to let you in a secret. Nachos don't exist in our universe. We've been importing them from a universe that's adjacent to ours. So if you enjoy nachos, you're welcome.
Oh, so that explains how they get that texture of nacho cheese.
Yep, exactly. Because, after all, the cheese doesn't belong to us. That's right. It's nacho cheese.
Wow.
I have no idea where we have gone. It's a fun little place, but perhaps we'll get back to something people can recognize.
We have gone where no EFN staffer has gotten. Well, no, I take that back. We go there quite often.
Yeah, we go there all the time.
We go there all the time. Behind closed doors, we're actually a very, very fun group. We shoot the crap, so to speak.
Yes.
Quite a lot, and we actually have a lot of shenanigans, and which actually, a lot of us at Everfree Network had the opportunity to meet up in Southern California this past couple month or so ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. That was given the joke name that apparently there is actually something by this name, but by that time it was too late. But it was Evercon. Right?
Yes, it was Evercon. We came up with this name jokingly because the only time any of us at Everfree Network ever get together, we're at a convention. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we're going to SoCal to meet up and have a week-long vacation all together, we're not at a convention. What's wrong with us? This feels unnatural. Okay, we're going to call our meetup after a convention. We're going to call it a convention. Everfree Evercon. There we go. Yep. So we're still meeting at a convention. We're perfectly sane people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, we got to meet up in Southern California, and we hung out for about a week and a half, and we actually had a lot of fun. We got to go out on the town in Orange. We went to Los Angeles. We got to go to Disneyland. Aquarium of the Pacific, quite a lot of places. But I think the best thing is we got to all hang out and just have fun, spend time together and have shenanigans together. Mm-hmm. I think that's what made it really, really fun. So behind closed doors and actually sometimes in public when we're all in the same place at once, we're actually a great group of people that likes to have fun and just joke around. And we're not always business, numbers.
Professionalism.
Yeah, we're
professionalism free network. Wait, no, that sounds terrible. That sounds
No, we are professional with what we do, but we're off the clock, quote unquote, per se. We're just normal everyday people. We like to have fun just like anyone else does. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun time out in California. Hey, I live here though.
Yeah, you live there, so it's not quite a trek for you that it is for the others. But
Yeah.
still nice for everybody to meet up, and I hope to be able to attend one in the future.
Definitely. Just Evercon 2015 may be happening.
I'm suggesting Osaka. Just saying. Granted, everybody but me has to travel further, but at the same time, selfish reasons.
Selfish reasons. I mean, well, no, the reason we picked California was because we actually have a huge contingent and cluster of people from EFN out here.
Right.
Like there's myself, there's Kibby, there's Casey. We have a lot of friends from the network. Tyler, some of the former peeps from Brony Clubhouse that are actually good people.
Right.
Some of the co-organizers or former organizers of Equestria LA 2012 and 2013.
Right.
We're good friends with quite a few of them, and we hung out with them. A lot of the folks from KPNY actually are all local to my region of the neck of the woods, so
nice.
Some of them got to go out there and hang out with everybody. So it was kind of a bit of a gathering of good friends and people of EFN out here. So why not?
It was a camaraderie of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I have no clue, but I do hope that I hope that actual convention staff meet like that at times. I really do. I hope it's not all total business.
Yeah, well, having some friends in EQLA for 2012 and 2013, it's I do get to hang out with some of these people quite often, and they do hang out regularly like that. So, and they still do, even though there's going to be no con for 2014.
Yeah, that's a shame, but
yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But hey, here's hoping for 2015, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the show's been renewed for 5 years, so there's a good chance there'll still be fans sometime before 2020.
That's true. Oh, we're in this for the long haul, aren't we?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Though I still insist, every person should only be as much of a fan as they wish to be. And
there you go.
For shame, anybody that attempts to humiliate someone else for not being the same type of fan as they are.
Exactly. Don't do that. That's no bueno. That's not fun.
And I don't know, just a personal thing, in my opinion, if you wish to not be a fan anymore, don't.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah, you don't force yourself to be something you're not.
It's supposed to be something that's fun, and if it's not fun at all for you anymore, go away.
So OJ,
and personally, I don't care for the I am leaving announcement myself. Just kind of, if you want to go, go. If you want to take a step back, take a step back. I don't.
Nobody's going to judge you differently if you need to take a step back. But hey, that's just this one guy's opinion.
2.
I mean,
we need 3 more to form a burger chain, but yeah.
And 7 more to say it's 9 out of 10 bronies say.
10 more to make an angry group jury.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and this is just my opinion. If a brony, whether a content creator, I'll just put it that way. If they need to take a step back, go ahead, do it. We understand life. Life has its ups and downs, and you got to do what you got to do. Nobody's going to think different of you if you have to take a step back. At least that's how I feel.
I will say there are some who will think differently of you, but at the same time, those are not people that
those aren't the
want
people
their
that are
opinion
important
of anyway.
Exactly. You don't need their gratification.
Yeah.
So, don't be something you're not. Don't have to sacrifice yourself to be that. And if it's truly that you feel that you need to move on, then more power to you.
Yep. Vaya con Dios. Thanks for stopping by.
So about not being a fan anymore, OJ, there's something I have to tell you.
Uh-oh.
I've gotten into Equestria Girls.
Okay.
So wait, nobody's gonna hate me for that one?
Not from this end, no.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure.
I'll admit fully, I will admit fully that at this point I haven't seen the trailer for the new one. So, judgment reserved. I don't think I'll start disliking you and stop listening to you at that point, but I will allow for the possibility.
I haven't even seen the trailer for the new one. It's
okay.
I'm waiting on I'm waiting to see how it'll turn out. Maybe they'll have another Los Angeles Film Festival or something that I can go to watch this.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you can take the hint.
I don't know. For me personally, I didn't dislike the movie. I didn't find it to be groundbreaking and surprising in writing as I do the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have a problem with the movie. I was shocked at how strong their necks were.
Right. Okay. This is my honest to God opinion on Equestria Girls. Have you seen Fringe?
I have not. No, I'm sorry.
The television show Fringe. Oh,
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But I'm sure everybody else listening has, and I'll get shamed for not watching it. But go ahead.
Okay. If you've seen the show Fringe, the alternate universe, they go through the portal. Think about it. What you just watched was a bona fide version of Fringe without Dr. Bishop. Think about it.
Nice.
I rest my case. That's why it was a great movie.
Nice. Well, that beat my point. I was going to make a joke about how those huge heads are supported by tiny little necks, but yeah, you win.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was an all right movie. And for being one of the few people that got to go see the premiere
in
nice. Los Angeles when it happened.
Nice.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I mean, I thought it was kind of short, and they could have done more with it. But again, you think about it, and you're like, kids movie, attention span of a 12-year-old to a 7 to 12-year-old, 90 minutes. Okay, I kind of see why.
I can see that.
Yeah. So
for me, it seemed to be a good cartoon, but yeah, I wasn't surprised by any plot point at all.
Exactly. You know what? I kind of got a laugh out of it because it's like it's making fun of all of the high school cliches. I love this.
This is a good point. Yes.
I kind of wondered, and no disrespect to any of the writers who worked on it, I thought it was wonderful, but I kind of feel at the same time they probably had like a dartboard with things pinned to it and said high school cliches. Let's see which one we can hit. Okay. Teen Crush, we got that one. Let me see the next one.
I got the next one. School dance that determines the fate of this person's life as far as they know it. Okay.
All right, let's do that. Okay, let me do one more.
Okay.
Teen Crush has awesome car.
Oh, okay. Yep. I got one more. Guitar. Okay, we need a guitar for the Teen Crush. Okay.
Oh, wait, one last one. Hold on.
All right.
I have cleanup montage of gymnasium. All right, we got ourselves a movie. Let's go. No disrespect.
Last one. Oh, I failed. I missed the robot involved in the montage. Okay. So it's not a perfect 80s, but pretty close.
Oh, that's true. Well, we could have just sat and watched Saved by the Bell, too.
Yeah. The only thing missing there was no robot.
There was no robot, especially as a hall monitor.
Next one coming up.
Hey, we never know. But no, I really love the movie, but it was so full of cliches, and I'm a person who loves cliches, especially when they're orchestrated so well. Mm-hmm. It was to me, I was kind of laughing at there, and I actually took Fairy Tale, one of the writers of KPNY, with me to go watch it, and we're like, I would look over to him during the premiere, I'm like, did they just really do that cliche right now? I was laughing a lot, so I thought it was I enjoyed it. It probably wasn't my best thing, My Little Pony concerned, but I enjoyed it.
Right. We've mentioned it a bit, but if anybody is not aware, which is possible, could you describe what is KPNY?
Okay, so KPNY, it's a radio drama where several ponies from Equestria have come across an invention that's actually created by one of them that allows them to see our internet. And pretty much one of them one of the characters from KPNY has discovered that there is a huge following of all things that are related to Equestria and Earth. And to him, he finds this exciting, and he decides to share this entire discovery with the rest of his friends. And his group of friends go to the local radio station in Ponyville called KPNY, and they pitch this to him. This is a hot story. We need to share this with Equestria. And instead of it just being a story that's a one-time thing, the radio station offers these ponies, we'll do a radio show on it.
Nice. Okay.
So the entire time, these ponies are researching this group of humans that have this fascination with Equestria. Sounding familiar, anybody? And start researching why they like Equestria and what they do because of it.
Oh,
and it's what they do because of it that makes it so interesting. All these humans are writing stories and creating music and artwork and videos and comics and crafts, and why? All because they love our land. They love the ponies that inhabit it. This is so strange. And then that's pretty much the basic premise, and as the story goes on, it's that these aliens that they've been talking with, they've been researching in humans, the humans that they've been researching, turns out that they have the ability to listen in too, to what they've been saying.
So we've gone past fourth wall. We're in the fourth wall to the eighth power at this point?
Probably, yeah. But it's not discovered early enough, which is I guess is a spoiler in itself for those of you who haven't listened to it. But it's first season. The first season is pretty much the extended epilogue, kind of. Not epilogue, but prologue. Excuse me.
Right.
Of it's the ending of the beginning.
That would be interesting if the entire first season was, we're finished now, we can't do it anymore, and then each season we go back a little bit further and find out what happened the previous day.
That would have been an interesting take. I'll take a note of that for next radio drama idea. But yeah, it's just, these ponies are, becoming intrigued and obsessed with what these humans that they now discovered are called bronies are creating, all because of the ponies of Equestria. And they start to share these findings with, the rest of Equestria over the radio via KPNY, their local radio station in Ponyville. And what are the consequences of doing that? What are the consequences, and what are the results of doing this?
Gotcha.
Is Equestria going to be open and receptive to this idea? Are there going to be, other ponies that don't like them because of this? Or, what are the consequences? What are the direct results? I think that's the main focus of. Nobody's ever asked this question before, and let alone make it into a radio drama.
Right.
Look at it from the ponies' perspective. If they had a perspective to look on us, what would they think? A little interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And let's see, currently, what season is airing?
Currently, the fourth season of KPNY is airing, and while season is synonymous, is a term that we just use for production only, because to the rest of you guys who listen or want to listen in, it's just episode numbers.
Okay.
It's the current episode is 21.
Okay.
That just aired. But for us on production staff for KPNY, we call it seasons because we actually make a batch of anywhere between 6 to 9 episodes in one go.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we call that our production season. So right now we're in production season 4 that's airing.
I see. Okay.
So that's just a term that's backhand for production.
Now, and I have to ask this because this is usually a tough question for creators on the web who do a story. Is there an ending? You don't have to tell me what it is. Don't have to tell me what it, or if you don't want to, don't even tell me when there is. Just, is there an ending?
There is an ending.
Okay. It just annoys me to no end when somebody will make a great story and it keeps going, but it soon becomes very obvious that they have no idea where it's going and have no intention of ever reaching any conclusion.
No, KPNY definitely has an ending. It's
Okay.
something that both myself and Fairy Tale, who um, sat down a very, very long time ago, and we hashed out how and when
Okay.
KPNY, the radio drama, would end. I don't want to give anything away, but
Of course not. I refuse to allow you to.
if you caught on to something I said earlier in this interview with, you may know what it involves.
We won't draw attention to unintentional spoilers. No, we won't.
It's super obscure, and if you get it, tweet me or DM me, and we'll talk from there. But it's super obscure if you've got it so far.
If you did get it, tweet at him with the hashtag Kiniro, and you'll be able to become his nemesis.
So yeah, it's the KPNY does have an ending. It's something that's we have hashed out for quite a long time. So it is like an actual radio drama. It does have a beginning. It does have an end. I will say this though, it's not really a spoiler because for those of you who listened to the first episode, that first monologue from the first voice you hear is actually one of the speeches that you will hear in the final episode.
Okay.
That's the only thing I will give you.
I refuse to allow you to give any more. So
fair enough. Yeah, I mean,
yep.
So yeah, the entire radio drama, it's pretty much just ponies from Equestria have discovered us bronies, and they're trying to make sense of why and why do they do these things. But at the same time, they make all these awesome creations for the love of our land and the bearers of the elements of harmony and our princesses and everything about it. Right. But the biggest thing with this radio drama that makes it interesting is there's one big risk with doing this. And you have to ask, the biggest risk about it is that you're essentially connecting two worlds here.
Yep.
What are the possibilities of things that may happen already? The things, and if you've listened to it,
yes, are you going to be introducing arugula to the salad world, or are you going to be introducing the bullfrog to Australia?
Exactly. It's kind of looking at it from the pony's perspective here, you look at it as they find this interesting, but why? I think the recent episode of KPNY episode 21, we actually had a well-known pony call in. And for those of you who know her by the fandom name, Colgate. Actual name, Minuet.
Yep.
We had her call in and voice her opinion about bronies. So you have to think about this. This is something that you're going to come across anyway. You're going to have to see what other characters think about and what do they think about bronies and why. Just all these potential questions you see yourself coming to ask yourself. Could this happen? And you say, yes, it could. And you do it. You have to answer that question.
Right.
Like, for example, would you see a character coming around to, trying to interview the main cast of KPNY and seeing why is it that they do these things and why are they doing this? And could it be possible that interview is very slanted?
Sure.
Because isn't Equestria kind of xenophobic in a sense? Because heck, a zebra comes to town, everyone locks their doors.
Yes, this is true.
So why would Equestria be thinking, oh, these aliens who are humans who obsess about us do all these things? Think about it.
Yep.
And what other factors and what other scenarios can come from connecting these two worlds? And I think that's the biggest thing that we enjoy writing this and doing this radio drama for, because if you've probably thought about it, so have we probably.
Yeah. The a few times that I've spoken with you, it's not something you do off the cuff. You've got a plan down, so you've discussed things. Do you how did it the radio drama in itself come to be?
Well, that's a very good question. It actually. Back in October 2012.
Oh, you're good with dates. I'm not Okay.
October 2012, I actually had discovered, no, like, actually, it goes further than that, but October 2012 was when we really cemented when KPNY got together.
Okay.
Um, but a couple of the local bronies and I formed a group together, and we kind of figured, well, hey, we should, do. We didn't think of it of a radio drama at first. We thought of, well, we should do like a podcast or a radio show where, we kind of help promote and talk to some of the lesser known people in this fandom.
Sure.
Who write fan fiction, music, art, whatever. Like, for example, one of the first guests we had on our show was Matthew N. He's a Brony musician from Poland. He was one of the first people we got. He didn't really take off in the fandom, but he made some great music, and the exposure we got him, it got him quite a bit of bump in notoriety. But
that's good.
That's what we originally started it for. But we didn't think of doing a radio drama. It was just like, oh, let's just do a radio show and whatnot. EQLA 2012 rolls around. I go out there just to my first convention. I've never been to one. I thought I might as well go enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Guess who I run into there? Let's just say they work with this network.
Me? No, wait. Oh, that was a terrible answer. I wasn't there.
So, at EQLA 2012, I run into Final Draft, and I run into Dusty Cat. Both of them being well known for doing, shows and whatnot, even for 2012. Why not ask the people who have been doing this for a while and see what they think, what we can do. If they could, impart any knowledge, for me, let me, I would appreciate it.
Right.
And I talked to Final Draft at EQLA, and he tells me everyone and their mother is doing a radio show. Everyone and their mother is doing a podcast. If you're going to do a podcast, you need to find something that's unique. And you need to hold to it.
Yeah.
But most important of all, even if you can't, be passionate in what you do. If you can't be passionate, and if you're just doing this to be another big name, don't do it.
Exactly. Yep.
Do it because you feel you can do it, and because you can do it yourself, and because you feel that you have the potential to do it. Don't do it for any other reason.
Right.
So, that was some good advice.
Oh yes.
And then I run into Dusty Cat, and I asked him, another person who's been doing quite a bit of a show for quite some time back then. And I ask him, what advice can you give? He tells me, first off, I appreciate the fact that you have the moxie to come up and ask me. He hands me a Stay Brony pin, and then he says, "Sit down." and I sit right next to him on this bench in the Anaheim Convention Center, and he's like, "All right, let me ask you a question. What did Johnny Carson, Dave Leno, Conan O'Brien, and Dave Letterman all have in common?"
Did you mean Jay Leno?
Jay Leno.
Okay,
sorry.
anyway, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Anyway, he asked me, what do all these people have in common? Tell me. Well, they're all talk show hosts. Exactly. Why do people watch them? And I'm like, because they're unique. There you go. Why are they unique? As soon as you can answer that question, you have answered the $50,000 question. And he gives me a tap on the shoulder and he says, I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out. And as soon as you find what that answer is, you'll find what will make you unique. And when you find it, never let it go. And he goes on his business.
Nice.
So coming back from EQLA, I'm rather invigorated by the experience. Come back home, and I talk with a lot of the people who I had talked with previously from my local Brony group about making this podcast. And I said, I talked to these guys, and they said, we have to be unique. We need to do something that is original, that stands out.
Yeah.
And what can we do? And I said, well, I don't know. We thought about it for a bit, and then it hit me. What if we have a talk show host and have someone in the background like Ed McMahon? If you don't know who Ed McMahon is, he's the
I'm very well aware, but I know that not a lot of people listening do not.
yeah. You can fill in because it's been so long since I remember the story.
Ed McMahon he was the co-host. He was the Andy Richter before Andy was a Richter.
Exactly. So, and Ed McMahon started as a person who was a behind-the-scenes person for that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wasn't really supposed to be on the stage, presenting people, bringing people in, introducing them, etc., etc. He was actually a stagehand. He was like the top stagehand for that show. But he apparently made a good impression that he said that they said, no, come on, get on stage. I want you to do this.
Yeah.
And it kind of hit. So I said, well, why don't we have a character like that? Why don't we have an Ed McMahon for our show? And then from there, we kept thinking about it. Well, we'll have a character called this. Just name doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a character called this, and we'll have them be a persona on the show, and we'll do this. Oh, then while we're doing that, why don't we make the host be called this, and he's a persona this way, and we make another character and have a persona this way, and it just slowly started evolving into a radio drama, and we didn't even know it. And when the pieces came together in late November, early December, we're like, we just came up with the basis for a radio sitcom. It wasn't a radio drama yet. It was a radio sitcom because we have all these characters, they interact with each other, blah 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 blah. But there's the biggest problem we have here. How do we know, or what reason would they have to be talking about bronies?
Yeah.
Tough one.
We have the how, just not the why.
We have the how, but we don't have the why.
Mm-hmm.
And when we discovered the why, we said, well, we can't just come up with such a interesting plot device to give us the why and not continue it.
Yeah.
And then from there, we're like, well, let's keep pushing the why.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep seeing where we can go with this. And we wrote, 3 episodes, and then we're like, this has the potential to do something.
Nice.
We wrote 3 basic episodes. They're not the episodes you've heard.
Right.
Those will never surface. And then we realized, well, okay, we have something. Let's see if we can actually do this. A couple weeks later, we write what we call as episode 00, which is our mock episode, which maybe one of these days I'll release. Just to see where we've gone from our initial, inception to now. But we record our episode 00. We write it, we record it, and we produce it just like an actual episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, we can definitely do this. This it was our pilot episode. We think we can do this. And I look at everyone on staff at the time, and I said, look, what we're getting ourselves into, by all means, is not going to be easy.
Right.
If you want to walk out now, you're more than welcome to. But I literally said, we're looking at the beginning of a radio drama.
Mm-hmm.
And, not a single one of them walked away.
That's good.
And, a couple months, a couple weeks roll by, we write the version 1 scripts of episodes 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we just start hammering it out. We produce it, and we put it on YouTube to see what kind of feedback we get. And at this time, I'm still communicating with Final Draft and all that other stuff. And, he thinks it's an interesting concept, but it's too, as he said, it's too shotgun approached.
Okay.
So he gives us that vital feedback. Well, we need to narrow it down. And then, I meet him at LPU. That's what he told me. And then he says, try to find a focus. See what you're trying to go for. You have a great idea. You just need to clean it up a little bit.
Gotcha.
get home from LP, which was in February 2013, and I sit down with the rest of the staff and I said, we need to rewrite the first 6 episodes. Because we had produced 6 at that point. And I said, we need to rewrite the first 6 episodes. We need to have some form of continuity and have a story that goes with this.
Right.
So then we take episodes 1 through 6, which had already been written, bump them up to be 2 through 7, and then we write episode 1, which is what you hear on EFN now.
Gotcha.
And then that pretty much that entire process right there is, how we got started. I mean, it was just it just initially started from a group of local bronies getting together and just being like, hey, we should do this, and just the think tank rolling and just what we can do with this.
Not just let's do this and then do it and then it's done, but there was an evolution of sorts in that we'll try this and this is okay, but what if we do this and it worked better, and trial and error, you got to the process that you have now.
Yeah, it's pretty much how it happened. And then, I kept in contact with Final Draft and a couple of the people from EFN, and I kept giving them status updates on how we were doing and how we were going about. And by the time EQLA 2013 rolled around, we had started producing our second season in what we called it, production-wise for everyone on KPNY. We called it EFN Standard.
Right. Okay.
Where we had an introduction, we had image stills, we had proper artwork, we had proper credits, we had redone all the previous episodes from season 1, so that they tie in with an overarching story. We connected seasons 1 and 2 together. We established continuity for a radio drama with those initial things, and by the time EQLA 2013 came around, I sat down with Final Draft and Joe Stevens from EQI at EQLA, and they pretty much say, "You've hit it.
Nice.
We want to bring you on board. We want you're good to air on EFN."
Nice.
So,
very nice.
So a little bit of an lengthy origin story is how.
Well, I think that's kind of important too, because I know I don't know about you, but I know that I get messages from people that are essentially one sentence saying, "I want to be on EFN too." I'm like, well, work hard, make something, then you got a better chance. This isn't just a want; this is a desire to do and the ability to do.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that you have to have the drive to do it. Even if you don't have the time, you have the drive, because then you make time.
Yeah.
And most importantly, being a part of EFN, it is a lot of hard work, but the biggest thing is, can you put your feelings for, I want to say for pride for what you do.
Okay.
I wouldn't say aside, but curb them.
Right.
Because sometimes, even though what you do is good, you still have to be humble with what you do.
Yes, very true.
Because you can't be in it for fame. You can't be in it for notoriety. And if you are, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and people will notice. So.
Yeah, you have to do it because it's something you want to do, or are driven to do.
Exactly.
Yep.
So fortunately enough, a lot of the people on KPNY staff have, been that caliber of person, and I'm honored to work with all of them.
Good.
Frustrations aside, because being in charge of anything, you're always going to be frustrated with somebody.
Absolutely, yes. That's how groups of people work. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm honored to work with each and every single one of them, and I could have not picked a better group of people to do this radio drama with.
That's excellent.
Which actually leads into something else. Upon getting getting KPNY involved with EFN, the first convention I actually went up with EFN as a part of the group was actually Everfree Northwest, where I met you.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Back when KPNY station uniform was nothing more than a shirt with an iron-on patch. But yeah, that was the first convention I went to work with EFN. Not intentionally. I just went to go have fun, and
Right.
I volunteered myself to go work with everybody. I went and I did food runs for people. I went and I ran equipment and stuff for people, and it was fun. I got to enjoy it. And, come BronyCon, they needed a lot of people to help out, and they were asking anyone who was going to be going to BronyCon from any of the shows, any friends of EFN, if you wanted to be on staff for the production team for that. And I thought, I'm going. Why not?
Yeah, really.
I volunteered, and well, I'm pretty sure you heard the story somewhere through the grapevine, but I was that one guy that was manning cameras for 20 to 22 hours a day.
Yes, yes.
Along with a lot of the other guys, especially Dave. Props to you, dude. Dave, Rich, everybody, they all kicked major butt.
Indeed.
But I do have a little bit of a story for that. I apologize for the one swear that I'll ever say on your show.
Uh-oh.
It's not as bad as you think.
Okay.
But at
Are you going to say
BronyCon,
Belgium again? Okay.
No,
Okay.
Luxembourg.
Oh.
But at BronyCon, I volunteered to be one of their cameramen.
Right.
This put me in charge of manning the camera in the AV pit. So in main hall, it was that little separated island from the stage where the cameras were, so you can get the wide angle shot.
Okay.
I was manning there. I eventually traded out and manned the concert camera.
Okay.
For both nights, carrying the I forget which camera model it was, but carrying that thing. And then I also was EQI's roaming camera.
Ah, I see.
So during the day, I was actually EQI's roaming camera, and during the night, I was the concert roaming camera.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I just kept going like every hour, and nobody could stop me. It was to the point that because like Draco, when he was up at Everfree Northwest, he got sick from working a lot.
Right.
A lot of the people were afraid that was going to happen to me, that I was also going to get ill from just running every hour of the day. And I didn't.
Oh,
I
nice.
just kept going. And I just kept giving it my all. And by Saturday night, I guess my hard work didn't go unnoticed, which was actually kind of nice. Draft and Rich had gave me a compliment. A-Track gave me a compliment. And because of that compliment, I think I could be mistaken, but also ended up Draft and Cowboy Dave ended up coming up to me, and they said, kind of like in a very joking manner, but kind of like in a almost somewhat sleazy manner. It was kind of funny because it was jokingly. They come up to me and they say, so Draft comes up, so Kiniro, we want to let you know something. You've been working a lot. And quite frankly, we can't have that because you're putting everyone else to shame.
Oh, jeez.
He says, so Kiniro, unfortunately, and he puts his hand on my shoulder. He says, you've been doing such a good job, but we're gonna have to fire you because you're making us look like lazy schmucks. Okay. So Draft says, well, now that you're fired, you're officially a free agent. So at this point, I'd like to offer you something. And out of the back, from behind him, he pulls out an EFN shirt and he hands it to me. And he says, I want you to be a part of EFN's production staff.
Oh, cool.
So he hands me that. It was just for conventions,
Right.
He says then he says, congratulations, dude, you've earned it. And Dave, with the smart ass remark, the swear you'll hear is just the ass word.
Gotcha.
He says, Kiniro, K-san, you've been working your ass off so much that you are putting us to shame. You're raising the standard. You're putting the curve way too high for everybody. Because a lot of us here, while we're working hard, we're working hard at half-assing it. You're working hard at full-assing it. And he says, and we just can't have that. Says, and then he just taps me on the side of my shoulder. He says, "No, you're doing a good job at full-assing it. We're honored to have you here with us."
Nice.
So
that's great.
From then, I've slowly, like ever since BronyCon, I've been slowly getting more involved with EFN core functions, with social media and reorganization for YouTube and whatnot, and being a part of production staff and everything else. It was kind of going in that trend since BronyCon, and I kind of was honored to be more involved with everything.
That's great.
So
that's good.
So it kind of, I couldn't say how I became a part of EFN's core staff without saying KPNY's history, because I kind of went to BronyCon to kind of represent KPNY specifically, not necessarily EFN, and it turns out that I did such a good job just helping out that they wanted me to be a part of production staff. So
there you go. There's the moral, kids. Work hard and you might get something. It happens.
It does happen. It's true. I mean, I used to be in the fire department. It used to, hard work pays off.
Oh yeah,
it really does.
Well, I have to hit you. A question that I ask in each of my interviews. In all of My Little Pony, what would you say is the one line or one scene that defines you as a brony?
The one scene that defines me as a brony?
Yeah. One line or one scene.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you've heard this one before, but I have to go. Okay. I have to say it because this one hits home to me as a person. I just don't know what went wrong.
Okay.
It hits home to me because I've been that person, who, would try their hardest to make things go right, and no matter what I would do, things
went wrong.
Things went wrong.
Right.
It's like no matter what I do, just things go wrong.
Sure.
And because of it, I feel like, in some aspect, fourth wall breaking here for that comment, for why that's my favorite line, is a lot of people will judge you because of that.
Sure.
Because of your mistakes, even if you're doing your hardest not to make a mistake and you're trying to genuinely help, but people judge you because of the mistakes that you make.
Yeah.
And that to me hit home, because when I saw Derpy actually go through the motions of trying to genuinely help, just to be for being on the show, genuinely helping as a character.
Right.
What happened? Everyone who watched the show genuinely loved Derpy for who she was. Everyone who didn't know Derpy immediately jumped on the bandwagon of, that's a bad influence. And that's something you should not be because of that influence.
Gotcha.
But that's not really the case, is it? That's not really the case. So to the people who don't know me, I'm looked at as that, I guess, somewhat bad influence. Whether I was in the fire department, whether it was because I was a brony, whether or not because I was a hard worker, and whether or not, certain things weren't to the ideal standard, or because, oh, you didn't go to college and you didn't do this and you didn't do that and you're a bad influence on my son, or daughter, or what have you, or just I would get prejudged because of that.
Right. I see.
And it hits very hard to home.
I can see that. Sure.
But the people who know me for who I truly am know that, mistakes aside, I'm genuinely trying my best.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that one line from Derpy is what defines me as a brony, because those who know me as a brony, and those who know me outside of being a brony, like me for who I am.
I think that's a good one. It applies. Definitely has application. It's far better than the I have seen it once. I just don't know what went right. I understand that's a little bit of a joke, but at the same time, like, all right, fine. Not the real message that's supposed. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, so I mean that was the line that associated me as a brony. I wouldn't say it's just a brony, but as a person.
Right. Makes sense. Well, everybody, today we've been speaking with Kinuro, and we decided to make a nemesis for him. So, Kinuro, please step forward. Be sure to check out KPNY on EFN, which has an ending that we won't talk about because of the spoiling. But it's an ending that can be coming.
And it hopefully will be done by the end of the year.
By the end of the year. Okay, that's good. That's a general one, but yeah. Thanks so much for coming by and speaking with us today.
It's always a pleasure, dude. It's don't get to do it often, but it's always a pleasure.
Everyone, this is Osaka Jack on Into the Spotlight with Everfree Network. We'll catch you next time.